They moved this garage.
From Kyle? I haven't done it, but I can. We've got pretty. I think we're stable now as far as we're not adding any more people. So, yeah. So yeah, I can make a note of that. Get the discussions great. I guess before we get started, is there any questions about the course format?
When it said after the quiz that once everybody does it, we can see what answers were. Where do you go for that?
All right. So this is going to be different looking, possibly, than now I did make a video today that I don't know if you had a chance. It was in a message I sent. So I sent an email today where it's explaining the gradebook procedures.
Okay.
It's a 3-minute video, and in that video I explain where to find that.
Okay.
We'll just go ahead and watch the video. Messages. Received from me. First, no. Gradebook procedures. Now
let the semester roll and explain the gradebook procedure. First off, the chapter quizzes. If you haven't noticed this already, you have a raw score provided to you. That's for me included in the gradebook.
Can you hear that?
A little bit.
Inside the textbook, where you can find your quizzes immediately after completing them. But if you want to know how you you're of course going to have to wait.
Okay, so here's where you go. So go to your student, so you'll you'll see your name there, click on quizzes, click on chapter 1 quizzes where you'll find your score, click on details.
Okay.
And that's where you'll find all the questions, you'll find the ones that you got wrong, the ones that you got right, and all of that.
Okay.
So that's actually inside the textbook.
Yeah.
Now, everything, as far as our grade book, everything will be in one tidy spot, and that's here on OnCourse.
Okay.
So you look at your OnCourse grade book, you should see a Chapter 1 quiz score.
Okay.
Discussion 1 is in the process of grading, and so all this will fill itself out as the semester goes. Regarding the quizzes, give me a couple days, maybe on a Wednesday after they close to actually update the OnCourse. It takes me about a week after the closing date to do the discussion 1 and the assignment 1, and all discussions and the assignment 1 and assignment 2 will take about a week to grade. The country profile takes about 2 weeks to grade. It takes about 30 minutes per assignment for me to grade. So that, obviously that requires a little bit of time.
How critical are you going to be on the discussions?
Discussions, I'll explain that a little bit here right now. So I'll wait till I get ahead of myself. But complete them, proofread them. I've got more to say about it.
Okay.
I'll come back to them in the flow of our schedule today. But yeah, I'm looking for complete responses. So if I ask for, now I hate saying minimum word count, but I would get 1,500 emails. How long should this be? And so, if I ask for 150 words, then yeah, 150 words should be what it should be. And if it's 2 sentences, then yeah, that's not full credit. You're not going to get full credit. If it's sloppy, not going to get full credit. But more to talk about there. All right, so let me just go ahead and do the attendance thing. So if anybody need to get explained on these Wednesday discussions, I think we're here last time, got you squared away a couple days ago. All right. And so I'll memorize all of your names here shortly, but until then, we'll just start from the bottom, work your way up to the top. What's your name?
Maggie Straube.
Maggie.
Or
Okay. Margaret. Maggie. All right, so you're from Wisconsin,
Yep.
And so what's going to be nice is you'll be able to relate to the election stuff at the end of the semester because I'll look at Wisconsin. And it's a state that it's hard to predict, and we'll talk about why. Also, with your west, are you on the west side, suburban? West
Up
side?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
right,
you'll be able to relate to suburbanization as well from where you live, and so that's a later chapter.
Allison Rader.
Okay, Allison. And so Eastern Hancock, so you're from the same county and school that my family is from. My grandmother is possibly the oldest living cheerleader in the state of Indiana. She was a cheerleader for Charlottesville High School.
Okay.
Charlottesville High School way back when, and they were called yellers at the time. They weren't called cheerleaders, and so she potentially could be the oldest still living cheerleader in the state of Indiana. All right, so we'll talk about rural Indiana a lot.
Rob Hunt.
Rob Hunt, okay. So you're from Portland, Indiana. I've got a couple people that just worship me. One of them is this guy from Portland, Indiana. He used to be a state House of Representative. So you'll be able to also relate to rural Indiana, but with that Anderson connection, deindustrialization, you'll be able to see that for sure. Yeah.
Ebony.
Okay. So Fort Wayne. So we'll talk about Fort Wayne for sure in a future chapter. So you'll be able to relate to things there. For example, the role of the United States automobile industry. And that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing for Fort Wayne. When the automobile industry goes down, so does Fort Wayne. Now it's starting to kind of level off as maybe Detroit gets its act back together. So we'll be able to relate to the stuff there.
Jason?
Englert? Cool. So Greencastle, Danville. There's a couple. Matt Hall? No. There's another guy from Danville. Matt Hall. Do you know Matt Hall? There's in the other class. There's like 3 people from Danville. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what recruiting we're doing, but all right, I'll take it. So you'll be able to, with Danville kind of there, it's seeing a little bit of suburbanization. It's seeing some fast growth. It's seeing kind of the Avon, Brownsburg, Plainfield kind of amoeba kind of work its way outward, and Danville's now changing. I remember when Danville was quite rural, and now it's very suburban, especially with the airport and all that stuff going on in Hendricks County. But you're also from Greencastle, so you know a little bit about the college town thing, which we'll talk about later in the semester as well. All right. Cool. Yeah. Sabrina, all right. So you're from Franklin Township, but then moved to Carmel? Is that true?
Yes.
So you'll be able to relate to, a lot of you from Indianapolis will be able to relate to the land use planning chapter. I focus in on Indianapolis. And so some people get bent out of shape. Why are you talking about Indianapolis, Indiana? Why so much there? Well, it's because most of us will probably end up living here. For better or for worse. I don't know if you like that or not, but the data shows that 2/3 of our graduates end up somewhere in central Indiana in the metro region. My cousin is 1988 Miss Franklin Township. That's about as good as it gets for her. So she was 1988 Miss Franklin Township. There you go. Yeah. Sandy. Okay, and so you're from Seattle?
Yeah.
So there's obviously some migration involved there, and so there's the migration chapter. You'll be able to relate to that, so maybe you can apply it to yourself from however you got from Seattle to sitting in front of us in this classroom. Also, let's see, urban geography. Being from a big city, a city beyond Indianapolis, you'll be able to understand some of the concepts discussed there. Finally, Kyle, Greensburg. So Kyle, you're from Greensburg. So we only, wow, all but 2 people here. So Greensburg, there's a big old Honda plant there. And that Honda plant's changed things. Why did Honda choose there? What does it mean for the rest of this area to have Honda locate there? Why is it good that Honda produces a car that people want, the Civic, which is in high demand because of it being more energy efficient? Whereas, if you have, big, huge SUVs being produced in your town, that's obviously not has high demand anymore. So we'll talk about Greensburg and how that's helped to kind of offset some bad farm crops. I know if you're from Greensburg, that's something that's more of interest than other places, especially more urban people, but the farm crop and how they're trying to adjust by adding other types of jobs. Cool, great. So as you all know, 1 point will be added, and if you stick around to the end, another point will be added. And what I'll do is I'll be adding these, and you'll see these added to your Exam 1 score. So at the, as we get to the Exam 1, I add up all the previous Wednesday discussions, and I'll add that to the top of your Exam 1 score. Then, of course, Exam 2, Exam 3, as we go through each of the materials. So these bonus points will be added to your exam scores. All right. So the discussion. So obviously, I pulled this information from the discussion. So discussion 1, give me a little bit more time to finish grading him. But just this is something that was mentioned by Allison. My cousin was named Allison, who went to Eastern Hancock.
What was her name?
Allison Schultz. They're all Schultzes. You know the Schultzes?
Is there a Caden Schultz?
There's like 100
There's a
of
million
them.
Schultz. I know
They all have blonde hair.
Schultz.
They all have blonde hair. I'm like the only one that's skinny.
Okay, you're probably related to Coach Schultz.
Yeah. There's Coach Schultz. Is that Coach?
Yeah.
Oh, so Clayton.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, that's my cousin. Anyway, and so the discussion, some things, make sure to proofread. And so I know this sounds stupid, but make sure you capitalize I. This sounds bizarre, but make sure you capitalize I. I realize this isn't a professional writing class, but also, this is just preparing you for writing properly and writing full sentences. And so, when you write out your responses, I am concerned about the content. I am concerned about what you're saying, but also how you say it. So make sure you proofread. Just take that little bit extra time, because going forward, after this first discussion, I will start taking off points for sloppy or very short, very brief posts. Another thing is plagiarism. So there is a student that completed a discussion forum in the campus, could be this class, could be a different class, in which it's obvious plagiarism. So I'll allow that person, if that person's here or if that person's listening at home, I'll allow that person until Sunday to write an email, say, you know what, I did plagiarize, I apologize about that, and then give me a less plagiarized response. These questions, these discussion forums, I'm asking what you think, I'm asking your thoughts. And so it's so easy to detect plagiarism. It's so easy. And I'm someone that doesn't mess around with plagiarism. Because in a higher level course, you could actually be removed from the university if someone really has the time to take that out on you. And so for that person, they got a 0, and I'll just say, I'll give you a second chance, but you have to admit to it. You have to say, you know what, yep, I definitely got my stuff straight from Wikipedia, because it's obvious. Like, I identified it's plagiarism, it's there. So it could be you, could not be you. But just, I'll just go ahead and say that. So don't plagiarize. I'm asking your thoughts. Don't need to copy paste from someone else or some page. Anyway, all right. So that's the discussion. I don't want to freak you out, but just tell me how you feel. Just say your thoughts. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for an encyclopedia response. All right. Now I'm just going to update you on some things that have happened to the on-course page since we've last talked. So some things have been added. First off, you'll see these links on the left-hand side, and you'll see Wednesday discussions. And so these discussions, all 10 of them, are now listed. So they're listed here on this page. And what will happen is probably tomorrow, maybe Friday, I will take that video, I'll throw it onto YouTube, and I'll paste the link right there. So that's useful for those that aren't here right now. It might be useful for those that didn't understand something I talked about. But probably a little bit more urgency for those meetings, those Wednesday discussions before an exam. Because essentially I'll be recording the exam review session. So the first exam is September 28th. So our next Wednesday discussion, I will be recording it. And it will have a lot of good, juicy stuff in there as we do the Exam 1 review. So we'll talk all about whatever we want, but the Exam 1 review will definitely be the focal point of the next Wednesday discussion that we have. So I won't see you for a little bit, but that's the Wednesday discussions, so you can find that information there. Now let's go to the Exam 1 review guide. So the Exam 1 review guide has been posted. Keep in mind on Monday, September 28th at 3 p.m. you'll have Exam 1. It's very simple as far as the layout, the procedure for it. So here are 10 different written response questions. I will randomly pick from this list 5. Who knows what 5 they are? But you already know the questions that will be asked to you on Exam 1. And the layout will be this. You'll see, you'll get a blank sheet of paper, 8.5 by 12, whatever, and at the top will be one of these. One of these written responses. You have the entire page to give me as much information as possible with these. And so I'll emphasize this at another time as well during the Exam 1 review session. But give me as much information as possible. Think of these as softball questions. Think of these are questions in which I'm kind of just teeing it up, and you just knock it. You give me as much stuff as you can, so you can add personal examples. And so, although I might not talk about stuff from Seattle, you can use Seattle if the examples apply to whatever you're trying to answer. So for these written response questions, I suggest as you go through the chapters, as you go through each of these topics, when you come across it, say, all right, and so start taking notes. And so then what you can do, what last semester people did more towards the exam 2 and exam 3, is they started to get together, started to compare notes, started to go ahead and write out written responses, and then they visit me during office hours or arrange a meeting, and I essentially look at it and say, yes, that is perfect, that will give you a perfect grade. Or I say, you know what, this is what, you get a 3 out of this. This is what you need to do. This is what you could do better. Could be a situation where I'm saying, hey, you're telling me too much. Your arm's going to fall off if you keep writing that much on an exam. So I'll talk straight. I'll give it to you straight as far as explaining, okay, what score you would get if you went ahead and used that written response on the exam. But just a reminder, these are blank. You're not no help. This is just have 5 questions that are randomly picked from here. So obviously you have to be prepared for them all. And then from there, give me as much information as possible. So don't feel like, well, I only have so much paper. No, we can go get more paper. Liberal arts, we are hurting, but we're not hurting that bad. We can find extra paper. Questions about this? And so the last class, they went ahead and started asking me questions about these. If you want me to, start to explain stuff, re-explain stuff, that's what this is for. But if you don't, that's fine. But keep in mind, we will go over all of these, whatever ones you want, the next time we meet on the next Wednesday discussion. So that's the exam review guide. Does it make sense? We're all on the same page as far as how it works? And so this is one reason why the scores in the campus class are higher than the online. People pretty much, especially at the end of the semester, they figure these out. They know how to write them. They know how to prepare for them, and you know the questions before you even take the exam. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't happen in math class. I know that. Although it probably happens in place setting class. Part of the general education core, though. All right, what other things we got to talk about? And if there's any questions you want, right, I can talk about anything.
So you said the Wednesday meeting before the exam will basically review and kind of maybe hit some of these questions if we
kind of. We'll hit it. We'll hit it big time.
Okay.
We'll knock it out. I won't leave here until you feel satisfied. I'll go ahead and see if I can get the schedule, so we can visualize where we're at. Messages, schedule. So just kind of give us an idea once again where we're at. And so I won't see you for a couple weeks. I mean, you can come and see me anytime. I mean, trust me, I won't. I don't know. I won't be following the NFL, or I probably will, but those two weeks, I'm in my office. Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I am in my office. So September 9th, September 16th, those are days we won't be here, but yeah, that 23rd, yep, bet your bottom dollar, where today might be 30 minutes, we could be here for an hour and a half and have to go somewhere else if we have to. But yeah, the answer?
Mm-hmm. So that day after the exam, the 30th, are we going to talk about how the exam went?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly what we're going to do. So I'll grade them, I'll return them, I'll have the scores. You'll see how you are compared to everyone else. And so for that one, that's when it will be. Now you can see for November 2nd, it actually will be till November 11th until I hand them back. But that's what those first times are, the first Wednesday discussions after the exam. And then, of course, here we can organize a meeting, we can figure it out, we can get together somehow, some way. Cool. All right. Has anybody started to work on assignment 1, which is from this chapter? Anybody started working on it? Go. Cool. Well, let's talk about what's demonstrated. All right. So in this chapter, once again, as you can see, this word, applying. That's what I'm all about in this class. Applying concepts to whatever could be yourself, could be where you come from, what you're interested in, your own migration story. You'll see throughout the semester, I feel like how can we learn? We can learn by applying these concepts to our own lives. And so that's the idea here. So in this chapter, this week, we're learning about maps. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a very simple thematic map. A thematic map, as the name implies, has a theme. So there's something about that map has which those dots on the map, there's something in common. It could be your 10 favorite restaurants in Indianapolis. That's your theme. Favorite restaurants, and you got 10 different locations. It could be the 10 best universities to go to. You know, you can do absolutely whatever you want. You can have fun with this. You can do whatever you want with this. You can give me 1,000% effort, or you can give me 90%. You can probably still get the same grade. So I'm going to explain how this works. And so what you're going to have to do, it's going to seem more tedious than what it is. You're going to have to get onto the Google, and you're going to have to sign up and get a Google password if you're in a Google account. If you don't have one, it's very simple to do. And Google's free, so it shouldn't cost you anything either. So then what you're going to do is then you're going to go, once you sign up with your Google account, you're then going to go to Google Maps. And I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to make a thematic map. And so once I'm logged in, I go to Google Maps like I'm here, so I can go over and click on the menu. And all this there's a video in this that explains it as well. Go to My Maps, and then you'll see Create. Hit Create. So that's what 10 seconds it's taken me so far. And then you've got this right here, this little marker. Let's make a theme. What's going to be the theme of our map we're going to make up right now? It could be about anything.
Our hometowns.
Our hometowns?
Yeah.
All right, let's do hometowns. So you're from Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
Whereabouts up there?
South Milwaukee.
South of Milwaukee. So our theme is going to be the hometowns of students in this class. Of course, yours can be whatever you want. So I'm just going to put Racine.
Yeah, it's over in
Cool,
the
we'll call it
county
Racine. So Neggi, hometown. Okay, and so then we have to title it. So we just go over here, title it, click on title, student hometowns. Cool, save. You can add a description, you can do whatever you want. So here, once again, you can do as little as you want or as much as you want. So you can come in here and do all kinds of, this is what's going on in my hometown, or this is what's going on in Maggie's hometown. You can add a picture if you want to. That's all up to you. Now, you don't get any extra bonus points. You don't get point deductions if you don't have a photo. It's whatever you want to do. Some people go crazy with these. We're crazy in a good way, not in an ex-girlfriend kind of way. So essentially what you do is you then make 10 things. So this map has to have 10 locations. And so I take the 10 students. I then take the time to find the dots. Not that hard to do. Then you share the map. And all this is included as far as instructions and a video. You then just copy that link and then you paste it into the textbook. So that's how to make a map. That's the first part of this 5-point assignment. So that gets you 3 points by just making a map that has a theme and at least 10 place locations, place markers. So if you need help coming up with a theme, let me know. It's always great if you can apply it to yourself personally. So if you're going to be, for example, a veterinarian, which I don't know why you go to school, but if you are going to be a veterinarian, you can do the top 10 veterinarian schools. Make a map of that. You can do whatever you want. Once again, apply it to yourself personally. And so then that gets us to part 2. Part 2 is just, okay, you just made this map. The Indy Star, RTV6, they're using Google Maps all the time to make quick maps of different things. I saw one the other day was 10 best places to get apples, pick apples, but it was using a Google map and just like something that you could do in 10 to 15 minutes. So these are becoming more commonly used. And so once again, applying this to yourself. How could you benefit from this personally, whether in your IUPUI career or after IUPUI? Now, I realize some of you might have a little bit more challenge. How making these maps can help you with your computer science, that's a little bit harder. But I've never had a computer science student not say something intelligent that made sense. So trust me, it can be done. If you need help with this, let me know. But do not just fill in, this will help me find my way as I go and drive around Indianapolis. No. How does this help your major, your career, whatever? Once again, application of stuff is so much more relevant than just making up BS and trying to fill in the 100 to 150 words. Anyway, questions about assignment 1? So as you go through it, once again, most people will wait till Sunday at 11 o'clock to start on things. But for those of you who don't, send me a message if you come across any hiccups, any questions. I'd be more than glad to help you out with anything. So assignment 1, we're good?
So you just copy and paste that map?
The map link for part 1.
Okay.
And then for part 2, you fill out the
in.
textbook. Text box. Yep. And with your map, this is something I mentioned in a video, but when you share it, just make sure it's public so I can see it. But that stuff I included in this, click here to view a helpful video. And so I include that. So, but I won't count it wrong if I can't see it. I'll just send you a message. Hey, can you open it up? Can you make it public? I'll send you a message about that. That makes sense? Sure. Cool. Student hometowns. There you go. So you've got these options. See, private only, you can access. No, change it. Change it to either anyone with the link or on public. So choose one of those top 2. Do not just leave it off. And so when you go and do this, make sure who has access. I can't see it if it's private. But if you have the link, obviously I can see it. I'll copy and paste it. And we'll go back down to, and so if you need any more help, what I'll do is I do this every semester, is I post them on my Twitter page. So here's my Twitter page, which is included in the textbook. I don't do this for shameless plug to try to get followers. I could care less about that stuff. Remember, I'm not a millennial. So number of followers means nothing to me. So don't think that I'm doing that. I'm doing it to help you. So if you go ahead and do a hashtag, you all know hashtags. In fact, we have too many hashtags out there, but that's a whole other thing. G110 online. So just do that hashtag G110 online, all one word, all one phrase. And what you'll see here, and this is more for those people that, once again, there's about 20% of you who want more, who are geeked out about this stuff, who thinks this is the coolest stuff in the world. Mind you, it's just 20%, not everybody. And so here, just follow, just do this hashtag. You can kind of see me kind of constantly kind of talking about current stuff. And so guess what we're talking about right now in Chapter 2? Maps. And so what I do is, okay, since we're talking about maps, here, at the top of the G110 hashtag, these are just stuff that never be quizzed on, never be examined on, but takes it further. And so here's this state-produced map that absolutely sucks, and I call them out on it. Then you got the police department, makes a crappy map without a legend. I call them out on it. So these are also ways you can understand things we talk about and keep it current. But you'll also find some old student maps. So here's some good examples of student thematic maps from a previous semester. And so these are people who obviously went above and beyond. And, maybe this is people that I show favoritism to because I like their maps. But this just provides more examples as far as the kind of stuff that is out there for you to do. So top 10 Indiana parks. Cool. Places mentioned on the Big Bang Theory. You can see, it's limitless themes that are out there.
Yet you want us to somehow tie it into our career.
No, not the map.
Oh.
I'm talking about that. Okay, now that you made these maps that you had fun with, now how can you actually apply that to your own life? How could you apply that to your own career? So what's your major?
Radiation therapy.
Radiation therapy. So a map of where do you go for radiation therapy? A map of the 10 places, the 10 nearest places to Indianapolis that you go for radiational therapist, I guess. Just do a Google search and you'll probably, you probably find a list of them. I don't even know what that is. It sounds scary.
It's the treatment of cancer.
Yes, yeah, cool. The, top 10 places to go for grad school for radiational therapy. Is that right? Rational theory, whatever it is. Whatever you want. But it doesn't have to be. It could be 10 favorite places you like to eat in Indy. It could be 10 favorite places you wish to visit in your lifetime. Maybe for some of us who've moved a lot, 10 places you've lived. I get some that are like, I can't believe they've lived in that many places. But whatever you want. Cool. So that's assignment 1. We're good to go there. All right, now I'm going to get ahead of myself. But that's okay because I won't see you for a while. So I'm also going to introduce assignment 2. So this is going to be one of the different Wednesday discussions in which I'm more kind of making sure we're all up to speed, kind of making sure we're all aware of these assignments. The future we'll get in a little bit more current topics and apply more lecture concepts or in textbook concepts as we go forward. But this one, I also want to talk about assignment 2, which is due September 20th. Keep in mind, we don't meet again till September 23rd. on our next Wednesday discussion. So assignment 2, this is found once again in chapter 4. So I just want to once again get this kind of on the brain because this is another one that's going to be difficult to complete with an hour to go before the deadline closes at 11:59 on a Sunday night. So what this is where does your stuff come from? So assignment 1, just like assignment 2, just complete them. Just do the work. Have that map with the 10 themes. Fill out that, how does this relate to me? For assignment 2, complete the table. Complete it to, just make it as complete as possible. What are you going to be using? You're going to be using this document here. So just go ahead and click on that, download it, and what you're going to do, this looks like it's, oh my God, this is going to take me, or I'm sorry, oh my gosh, this is going to take me forever. But trust me, as you get going, this will actually, you'll get through this pretty quickly. So this should be a quick, easy, simple assignment. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at where all your stuff comes from. We have these different categories, and so every single one of you right now is wearing a shirt that on the back of it says where it's made. Every single one. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, purple, green, whatever. Every single one of you has a made in somewhere. And so just collect all the data. So you'll actually find out, once again, everything has the label, but you'll fill this out quite quickly. I will preface this by saying I do not really look at your stuff. I don't like to look at you, oh wow, they wear that? No. So just fill this out to completion. So when I look at this table, I'm just making sure it's complete. And so of course the complete table is all these yellow boxes filled. So I get a lot of students, especially those that wait to the end, who will just leave off half the table, and that's quick, easy ways to deduct points. Then from that, you then create this list. Now you're going to analyze that data. So which country did most of your stuff come from? And it's pretty much, I can go ahead and tell you, it's going to be China or United States. If you don't know, Donald Trump has mentioned China a few times, and so you're going to probably get one of those two. Now if you don't, that's great. But it'll be probably one of those two countries. And then from there, you then fill out, using the regional maps that we included in Chapter 1. So then just figure out where. And so China is in East Asia. China's in East Asia. And then from there, you fill out an observation. You just give me about 4 lines of text. So then you say, okay, I observed my clothing and shoes items. A lot of them were made in Latin American countries. A few of them were made in Southeast Asian countries. And even a few were made in the United States. So all I'm looking for is general identification of patterns. Later, why I do all this is because this relates to Chapter 4, culture, because it speaks to your level of culture. But also later on in chapters 8 and 9, we look at the global economy. We can come back and use the data that you created. You can look at it and say, oh, okay, that makes sense why that's from there. Because it's all about the global economy. It's all about shipping. It's all about cheaper stuff. We obviously like cheaper stuff. We can afford more stuff. And so a lot of this is the quest for cheap labor. But then I'll come back and put on my instructor suit and explain, well, this is why you see these particular patterns. And so we can then build on this throughout the semester. So we'll talk about in Chapter 4. We do it and submit it in Chapter 4, but trust me, it'll come back a few different times. So this, once again, complete all of the tables. Everything in yellow. It's yellow for a reason. Just kind of train your eye. Hey, I got to complete everything in this particular box. So go back to the assignment. Other things I include, different categories. And so what are some electronics? What are some accessories and jewelry? I give you just other things, and so other things to kind of think about. Preparation H. All right. So K grader. So all of that. So this gives you as much information as possible. And finally, examples of rough observations. That's that last table. And so what am I looking for in that last table? Stuff like that. Just everything I just said. So assignment 2 questions. And so this, you complete the table, and then you upload the table once it's completed.
And
that's it.
We just do the number of the items that are listed.
What's that?
Like we just do the number of items that are listed.
Yep. And so although you might have more than just 10 electronics, just give me 10 and move on. Yeah. That's enough to notice patterns. And we'll definitely see different patterns. Any future teachers? Cool. If you're ever teaching social studies, you want this, have at it. You can use it. If you need help with it, go for it. This is a great, because it doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter where the kid comes from. They all have stuff that shows where they're made. So I don't know. I've done this a lot in K through 12, kind of not obviously doing the table, but the kids love it because they all go, oh wow, and then we get out the map. They're like, oh my gosh, it's all the way over there. Anyway,
So you've taught elementary?
No, I just go and do like volunteer, I guess,
Oh,
or
okay.
do little presentations. Like this is geography. It's not memorizing capitals.
Cool.
Any questions? Yeah.
This is kind of not related to the course, but with we bought like the online website. Are we going to have access to that like forever?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
okay.
So
not
after a
like
chapter
online?
closes, you can't like retake quizzes and do discussion.
Yeah.
But I specifically asked them keep this open because they were closing it. I said no, keep this. There, people bought this. Let them have it as long as they want. So a woman from the previous semester, she's now her kid's like a 14-year-old, and he's now using the book to kind of help him with his own classes.
Okay, good.
So I mean that's exactly what it's for. It's not like
not like
I'm
the
not in it
language
to make
ones.
money. Trust me.
Yeah, because the language ones you get it for like a semester or two, and then you can't get into it anymore.
That's you bought it. All right, that's all I got. If you have individual questions, come on down. I like Seattle. I went there last fall.
I've always wanted to go there.
I know, me too.
I used to live in California,
Oh.
but I still like Seattle better than
What are you doing here?
Yeah, what?
Well, let's be real. Growing up in Seattle, it's kind of, like I said, the area I was in is kind of rough. And it's in the ghetto bit, so then school is better than here than what I was attending in Seattle. So mine is
It's probably cheaper.
It's like every place is better than where you're at. I mean, that's kind of how things
I
are.
like Seattle.
I mean, I like Indiana. That's not bad.
True. Yeah, I do
It's
too.
not a good place, but
I really like it.
That always fathens me, like people who are out of state and they come to live to Indiana. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like my boyfriend's stationed here, like he's from California, but I was like, why?
Yeah, I played college tennis in in Eastern Illinois, which is middle of nowhere, Illinois, and one of the guys on our team was from Key West. He just wanted to get away from Key West.
I would never want to get away from Key
But
West. I
when you
love
grow
Key
up there,
West.
he's like you're on your own island, in the middle of nowhere. You're so
Yeah.
disconnected.
I know, even in Seattle, California, let's be real, there's a lot of gang violence and like half my siblings.
So where at?
Yeah, so let me know when you get access.
I'm from San
And
Jose,
then,
but you really want to get into
Okay,
it. I'm
so
from
what I'll
Silver
probably do is I'll
Milpitas.
allow you until
It's
Wednesday.
near Silicon Valley.
Complete it?
Okay.
Is that
You
cool?
know what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, just if you need to let me know.
A lot of drugs, gang violence. I mean, half my siblings were on drugs, so I'd
Yeah.
rather be here than out there.
Yeah.
I guess most of us go to like California for vacation, so we don't
I
see
love
True.
it.
Right, we
True.
I'm going back there for vacation in November.
Yeah.
I love going vacation, but living there wise, I wouldn't raise if I had kids. I wouldn't raise